Hi guys, this lesson is on section 4.4, which is solving multi-step inequalities. It's going to be the same as solving multi-step equations, except for instead of an equal sign, you're going to have inequalities here. Okay, and again, you got to have the variable first, and then on your homework, it'll say to check, but you do not need to check your answers. Okay, and I don't think you have to graph unless it says to graph, but we're going to graph just so you can get used to it. So the first one here, if I have this, same thing as the equal sign, I can draw a line down there to balance the equation or the inequality. And I'm going to minus 7 from both sides. That makes that gone, and I'm left with 6a is greater than 12. I divide both sides by 6, and I get a is greater than 2. Pretty simple. And then when I graph it, 0, 2, negative 2. A is greater than 2, open circle on 2, going to the right. Pretty simple and basic there. Okay. On this one, I need to distribute. So I'm going to get 2t plus 4 minus 3t is greater than or equal to 1. I want to combine my like terms. So when I combine this with this, I'm going to get negative t plus 4 is greater than or equal to 1. Then I want to minus 4 from both sides. Sorry, I should have drew this down. Minus 4 from both sides. And I get negative t is greater than or equal to negative 3. And again, I cannot leave it there because I have a negative t. And I'm going to move this so you guys can see it. I see the light reflecting. Okay, so I need to divide by negative 1, or I could multiply by negative 1. But again, when I multiply or divide, I need to flip the sign so that it becomes this way. Okay, and then it becomes t is less than or equal to 3. Okay, if you want to uncircle the inequality, you can. Or your answer, you can leave it on either way. When I graph it, simply 3, negative 3, close circle because it's or equal to, going to the left. Okay, so that's how you do those. And here's a reminder for those of you who are watching, you don't need to check your answers on the homework. Okay, so again, you do not need to do that. Let me try to bring this in closer so you can see. So now I have variables on both sides of the inequality. So I'm going to draw this line down. And I'm going to minus 4z from both sides because again, I want variables only on one side, so I'm going to get rid of this one. So you can see this becomes 2z minus 15 is less than 11. Okay. When I add 15 to both sides, this is gone and I got 2z is less than 26. Divide both sides by 2, so that's gone, and I get z is less than 13. Okay. And again, if you want to erase this part, you can to make it clear. Graphing it, simple. Again, don't graph it unless it says to graph it on the homework. Open circle because it's greater than, less than. It's not or equal to. Open circle going to the left. But you should be getting pretty good at graphing, making sure you know the difference between the open circle and the closed circle. Okay. Okay, so here's number 4. I have an inequality. I got a double distributive. I'm going to distribute on both sides of the inequality. Okay, so I'm going to draw my line down the middle. When I take this and I distribute, I'm going to get negative 12. And be careful, again, remember it's negative 3 times negative m, okay, which becomes plus 3m is greater than or equal to, and I'm going to take this and distribute, and again I have the negative 14, so it becomes 8m minus 28. Okay. From here, I can minus 3m from both sides. You could have subtracted 8m from both sides, okay, either way. And I'm going to get negative 12 is greater than or equal to 5m minus 28. I'm going to add 28 to both sides to get rid of this one. And I'm going to get 16 is greater than or equal to 5m. I'm going to divide both sides by 5. And I'm going to get, looks like that's 3 1/5 greater than or equal to m. Okay. And again, I want to rewrite it variable first. So m, flip it around, is less than or equal to 3 1/5. Okay. When I graph it, 0, 3 1/5, negative 3 1/5. Okay, so you can see how easy that is. Closed circle because it's or equal to on positive 3 1/5. Nice big closed circle going to the left because it's less than. Okay. And I'll circle this or square it for you guys. Rectangle it. Okay, that's how you do those. This next problem is a real world example. So with Makahiki coming up, we're going to do Makahiki banners. Okay, and so say, for example, they cut a cloth out and it was 4 feet tall. Okay, and they're not sure how wide you want it, but if they give the instructions that your area can be no more than 8 feet squared. Okay, how wide can we make it? Okay, no more than 8 feet squared. What you want to do is, because it's area, it's going to be length times width, and I have 4 here and a w here, so I could just write 4w, and no more than as an inequality would mean less than or equal to. Okay, remember it's that much or below, and then 8. So it's a pretty simple one. Divide by 4, and your width has to be less than or equal to 2 feet. So it can be anywhere up to 2, oops, forgot the T, 2 feet. Okay? Now we're making a bigger school banner. And this one's going to be 8 feet tall. You can see that. And we're not sure about the width. But in order for people to see it, it needs to be pretty big. So what they're saying is the trim around it, and you can see my red trimming around it. The trim around it has to be at least 24 feet. Okay, so in this one we used area. In this one with the trim, we're going to use perimeter. You're right. Okay, so perimeter is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Okay, if our length is 8 feet, I can say that it's going to be, oh, and I'm sorry, at least. Okay, so what we do is we need to go 2 times 8, which is your length, plus 2w, and we're going to say at least. At least means to be that much or more, because we want it to be that much more, so it's greater than or equal to 24. Okay, so 2 times the length plus 2 times the width has to be greater than or equal to, for at least 24. Okay, now we can solve it. So we get 16 plus 2w is going to be greater than or equal to 24. We're going to minus 16 from both sides. And we're left with 2w is greater than or equal to 8. So I'm going to move this down so we can see more. Divide both sides by 2. And your width has to be greater than or equal to 4 feet in order for it to be at least, the trim to be at least 24 feet. Okay, so it can be 4 feet or more to satisfy the requirements. Okay, so just be careful again with writing your inequalities. No more than is less than or equal to. At least would be greater than or equal to. Okay, so I have homework checks here for you. I have 2 homework checks. Again, I want you to solve and graph them. Although the Edmodo will not have the graph, I do want you to solve and graph. And let me make it clear, I do want you to show work. Some people did not have work. Okay, so yes, I want you to show work. I want the original problem, I want you to show the work, I want you to find an answer, and I want you to graph it. Go on Edmodo and just put the answer. Here's number 1. Negative 3x minus 4 is less than 14. Okay, and homework check number 2. Solve and graph again. negative 6 times the quantity x minus 4 is greater than 7 times the quantity 2x minus 3. And I do want you to do this now before you come to class. And I do want to see the work. Please don't just try to do the quiz off of Edmodo. Yes, I do put the problem on Edmodo, but I do want you to do it from here and then show the work and graph it. Okay, I hope this helps. It's a pretty short video, and I will talk to you later.